the Everything But Politics podcast.
We are live. EBP episode 104 with my boy, Paulie Litt, with over 2 decades of experience in the entertainment and film industry. Welcome, Paulie, to the Everything But Politics podcast, brother. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
What's happening, guys? How you doing today?
Let's do it. Paulie, I want to get right into childhood acting. How do you even get into that? Were there beginning stages where maybe you were like, I don't know if I want to do this, or did you love it from the start?
Yeah, I guess there was no thought really if I didn't like it or I did, because I was so young. I started when I was 6. And I guess my mother always knew there was something a little different about me, because I would watch Ace Ventura over and over again. I think I went through a couple VHS tapes.
I think you wore an Ace Ventura shirt this morning to the gym.
I 100% Ace Ventura shirt.
Did I see that correctly? Nice.
Yeah. I have a whole lineup. I have TLC. We go through the list, but Ace Ventura is numero uno. And I just watched it until I could mimic every facial expression, knew every line. So mom, she knew early on that I had this real love for film and making people laugh, certainly. So she spoke to my grandmother and we made an appointment. I grew up in New Jersey, so New Jersey, New York area is very big in the entertainment space. So there's a lot of agents and managers, and she set up an appointment and they wanted to sign me immediately. And I was very blessed and fortunate. The first audition I ever went on, I got, which was a dope commercial. It was an Oreo cookie commercial.
We got to find that.
Yeah. So they flew me out to LA. We filmed it at Universal Studios. They were doing The Amazing Spider-Man, the original one, Next Door, and The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. So it was like, talk about starting off your career with a bang.
Paulie, when I was 6, I was picking my ass. You're out in Hollywood filming commercials. Do you have any recollection? Do you remember this, or is it a little blurry?
Absolutely. Like, I was actually talking to Chuck, our mutual friend at Lifetime, and it's like I can close my eyes and go back to those moments in an instant. Feel, touch, smell, everything is just those sensory parts I just remember so well, and I had such a great experience. I'm just very fortunate for that.
It is crazy, and at, like I said, 6, 7, 8 years old, you were really, I've seen these videos as of late, really intelligent for a young boy that age. I seriously though, like the interview with Conan O'Brien, which I didn't know existed. I saw that for the first time very recently. That was incredible. Like, truly, I had like the whole 8-minute video. I had like the biggest smile. I just couldn't believe, Paulie, what I was watching. That was like quite literally the most amazing performance from an 8-year-old I've ever seen in my life. No exaggeration. Like, what did you prefer? Is that just who you? I know you have that energy now, but at 8 years old, how does an 8-year-old even like grasp that?
They don't. I didn't. It was just me. It's just who I am.
Yeah, dude, crazy.
I think a really wonderful compliment that a lot of people that I've known since then, and they still know me now. They say you haven't changed, which I really. It's kudos to my mother, and I'm appreciative of it, and I try not to, but that was me. That's just who I am. Everything that came out of my mouth was really for me. And it was funny because I wasn't even really supposed to do the show that night. I was actually filling in for Ashley Judd, I believe.
Okay.
But I was doing Hope and Faith at the time, which filmed in Long Island City, Queens, and I was able to jet across the city in time for filming, and kind of make up for that.
So you get involved at 6 years old, and then a quick 2 years later, you're already doing Conan. What happened from age 6 to 8 that allowed you to even have that opportunity?
So much. I mean, I was just very fortunate. I went on a in regards to commercials, I went on a string. When I was doing the Oreo commercial, I found out I got another commercial. And then while I was on that commercial, I found out I got another commercial. And then I had a really amazing, just such an incredible experience being in Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind with Jim Carrey. And that was, I believe, one of my first role, and it was super small. You blink and it's over when it's a flashback. But being able to work with Jim at such a young age was just such an impactful moment for me, and I still relish in it. So then I jumped, and then I think Jersey Girl came, and then after Jersey Girl, then I was on Hope and Faith. Trying to think, and some projects in between there, but it was just kind of a real snowball effect down the hill.
Well, and obviously you had a great booking agent / manager. Do you still use the same people?
I don't. For them, the ones that I had when I was really young, I don't have anymore. I've been with Innovative for 20 years almost now, so I've been with them for quite a while. But yeah, I had a great agent and at the time, and I think I just was going in for the right parts and sort of making it my own. I mean, there was moments that I was very fortunate enough, like in Doubt, I had auditioned for about 3 or 4 of the roles in the film, and John Patrick Shanley just wound up writing me in to the film, which I was so grateful for. So I think it is a little bit of the agent and just a little bit of being at the right time and being prepared for it and bringing my own stuff.
Also being incredibly talented. We got to give you some credit. We saw these videos.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I mean,
you give Merrick the best agents and managers, and I'm not sure he's going that far.
The 8 years old.
Well,
I mean, here's another thing. So we had just, the most generic suburban experience from 5 to 18, right? We grew up in a suburb, went to public school. What did you do for school?
Yeah, but you had freaking ice skating rink out in the back during the winter time. Shout out to Dad.
Shout out.
The backyard.
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong there. But
yeah, it's totally different. Like, listen, you guys had, prom and dances and schools and sports, where I had to make that decision to not, I couldn't play sports because of my contracts. I couldn't do certain things. When I was on Hope and Faith, I used to follow the same curriculum that my school did. And after our season, I would go back to regular school for like 2 or 3 months. But after Hope and Faith and I started doing more films, it just got too sporadic. So I wound up coming out and homeschooling. And then I wound up graduating when I was 16.
How does homeschooling work? Are you like your mom helping you go through stuff, or do you have a tutor, or what is that process like?
A little bit of both, but mainly tutors, especially when I'm on set. Like growing up, we were so on Hope and Faith. You have to do 15 hours of school a week.
That was 3 hours a day. It's not bad.
That's minimum. But what we would do, my set sister. So I had 2 sisters on the show. My one sister, Macy Crutherd, and my other sister was Megan Fox.
Yes, yeah.
Second and third season, and then Nicole Paggy on the first. But Macy and I used to log all of our hours Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because it was like slow days for us, because Monday would be our table read, Tuesday would be a light dress rehearsal, so we could log like 4 or 5 hours, and then Thursday and Friday we'd be like, we don't feel like going today.
That's so funny. I wish I had that luxury.
Yeah. But what I will say is it's one-on-one. It's a lot more intense, 3-4 hours one-on-one with a tutor.
Yeah.
than with, you know, a classroom and changing classes, or like lockers. Never had a locker. You know,
You're not missing out,
yeah.
honestly. You're not
Yeah.
missing out. So, so you're graduated at 16, and at 16 years old, what did you envision for yourself? Like, what were you looking from 16 onwards? What did you envision for Paulie Litt?
Um, for 16 on, my mother said to me, "There's no way you're not going to school for 2 more years." Um, so I enrolled in Palm Beach Community College, which is Palm Beach State College. Shout out to the Panthers in the
Shout
L.
out. Shout out.
And I went there, and went there for like 18 months till I was 18. And then I had the opportunity to go produce, which is when I was about 12 or 13, I knew I wanted to eventually direct. Even when I was on Hope and Faith, Dickie Quinlan was our cinematographer, DP. And I would just try to be by the camera as much as possible because I just loved it. I loved being behind the scenes too, even at that age. And then as I got older, I understood, you know, that's really, you're a part of the whole process of not only reading the words on the paper, but creating the words, changing the words, and filming those words. And then, you know, a year later or 6 months later, you're watching it on, you know, screen. So
yeah.
for me, when I was 18, I thought, well, if I can go produce and I can, you know, understand that and put my dues in there, then I can eventually direct if I want to.
So you mentioned behind the scenes, and earlier you mentioned the movie Doubt. So I'm curious. It's a major movie, right? It's a very serious movie.
Right.
When the camera was not rolling during Doubt, was there like was it still very serious and you know, dramatic given what the movie portrayed? Was it still that same energy when the camera wasn't rolling?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's different from actor to actor. You know, Philip was very much, I don't want to say method, but method-esque, a very soft method, you know, where he would definitely, it would take him a while to warm up or get into these moments. So for him, he would be more somber. I mean, Meryl, it was like a light switch for her. It's just incredible to witness and watch. She knits or crochets. I always forget which one is which. But she does that on the side, and she'll tell you a joke, and she'll, you know, be talking, and then all of a sudden, boom, she's crying, yelling at you. It is amazing. Now, was it as light and airy as a Speed Racer set? No, probably not.
Yeah.
But you know, we had some, we had I don't want to say fun. We enjoyed making the movie. It was enjoyable, and just being in a room with all those creative people. I mean, single-handedly, you have Meryl Streep and Philip Seymour Hoffman, maybe two of the best actors ever.
Yeah. No, seriously. In your career,
It's
in
like
your
me, Meryl Streep, Philip Seymour Hoffman in a scene, and that's it. And it's just like, you know, it's trippy.
And it's cool. So we had this conversation with Mike Young, who is very friendly with Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Bob Saget was in his comedy special before he passed, but the gist of the conversation was that not snippet, but that clip, that film will live on forever.
That moment in time.
Paulie Litt alongside Meryl Streep and Philip Seymour Hoffman lives on forever. Like, how does I don't know if you've thought about that. Yeah. What does that sound like out loud?
It's incredible, especially given the fact that, you know, the untimely, unfortunate passing of Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Seriously.
You know, no one, there's a very select group of people now that can say they've worked with them. And I feel very fortunate and honored to have a very little part of it, and just witness his greatness. And the same with Meryl. So yeah, it's crazy. And especially, you know, going back to what something that'll live on forever, I've also seen a resurgence, like specifically Speed Racer. it was not very well received when it came out. And it was unfortunate, but I certainly believe that sometimes with art, like I see behind you, it takes a little while to appreciate the forward thinking that the Wachowskis had when they made that project, and Joel Silver and Grant Hill and everybody that went into it. So now, when I hear how much love people have for Speed Racer, it's incredible, because that movie's now 2008 it came out.
It is funny. I have a when I saw Speed Racer, when I was reading your filmography, very strange. I have a distinct memory at 8 years old. So my dad he liked movies, but he didn't like to go to the movies. I remember Speed Racer, he went with us in 2008 I don't know if you recall that, in the Cherville, Indiana AMC theater. Like all five of us, my brother, Ethan, Evan, my mom, and Jay. And little did I know, I saw you when I was 8 years old.
That's amazing.
Right.
Well, one of the best photos I think of you is that Wizards of Waverly Place one when you're all mafiaed out. I mean, that is awesome.
Yeah, and that goes back to Peter, who was one of the producers of Wizards, was a writer on Hope and Faith.
There you go.
And it's funny. I didn't even know. I knew they had called me and they wanted me to play the part, because they knew I could pull off this mafia kid, whatever,
New Jersey kid.
Yeah. But actually, I did the Wizards of Waverly Place podcast, I don't know, a year ago or something like that. And Jen and David told me that there was another kid they had hired. Monday, Tuesday, they had another kid. And then, Tuesday afternoon, I rolled in and, took the part over. And they allowed me to really play, because like that hat, that's my hat, the watches, like that's all my stuff. And they allowed me to bring it to the character.
So did your mom save all of that inventory that you would wear?
Yeah, some of it. Kangol's been very good to me. I think I have every color Kangol hat imaginable. They sent it out. I always keep a velour tracksuit around just in case. We'll roll one out for St. Patrick's Day as well. I got the green fit.
That's so good.
On like a lazy night, how often are you going back and watching, films you were in?
Never seen anyone I've been in.
What?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I think I get super critical. Oh, there's the weather. There's South Florida weather.
I'm hearing it too.
But just get super critical and pick it apart. And I know what take I like better than what they used, or
Gotcha.
I think I could have changed something here, changed something there. And I guess, it's not like sports, right? I'm not going to play that team again. I'm not going to see that position again. It's in the past. It is what it is. And that's what makes being a producer or a director so unique, is being a part of the editing process and the entire process where you can have a say in that kind of stuff.
So, Paulie, we've been talking a lot about the past. Let's talk about Paulie now.
Yeah.
What's going on? Tell us what you got in store. You've had an incredible past, and it was really enjoyable to talk about it and hear your point of view on it all.
Yeah. So future, I think I'm getting ready to start up a project. I don't know. I miss, I always go back and forth whether I like television or I like film more. And I got to say, there's something about being on a television show. You really become like a true family. So I think I'd like to maybe possibly go back into a space where it's television. I've also explored some writing on my own end. I'm definitely not a writer. I can barely, anybody who knows me, I can barely read, let alone write. But I've been working with a good buddy of mine, Miles, and we've been putting some stuff together, and hopefully in the fall go out to LA and film some stuff. And that's the neat part about being behind the camera, guys, is I get to call my friends. You know,
do you think you're working on this project, would you do any acting in it, or you simply want to step back from that and produce / direct it?
I think maybe we'll get in front of the camera again.
There we go.
It's been a little while. I certainly don't look the same. I look a little different. So maybe it's I think I'm ready to rumble again.
And you do have the cake guy here if you need someone.
That's right. Hey, let's talk about your premiere, huh?
Listen,
guy on the corner.
Listen, I had to sign an NDA and unfortunately can't disclose that. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I will be on NCIS Tony and Ziva as an extra coming out this March or April, this upcoming spring.
Episode 2.
Yeah, I'm the cake guy in the episode. I don't know if I could disclose the episode, but it will
Shout
be
out
on
the Cake Boss. This is the cake guy.
Yeah, it'll be on Paramount Plus. NCIS Tony and Ziva. Excited to make my film debut, man. I just gotta create I gotta
have to get you out more.
We're just getting started. We know this is the best
Paulie Litt.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Listen,
maybe not a main role, but an extra for sure.
No doubt. Listen, I'll let you guys tell your fans when you're ready, but all I have to say is when Uncle Jimmy starts, count me in.
Oh my God. Dude, that is funny. Listen, I don't know if that life is for me. I love what we're doing here on this show. You know, we're having a lot of fun talking with, some guys like you.
Incredible people.
Yeah, seriously. So we'll see. I mean, listen, I'm at the point, never say never, right?
Listen.
No, Justin Bieber.
No, you guys are having fun doing this, then do that. It's a great space, and I think it's much needed. You know, we always talk all the time. There's so much divisiveness in our society right now that I think anytime we can get together and talk about anything but politics.
Yeah, get some laughs going, huh?
Yeah, get some laughs going.
Well, Paulie, enough about me. I want to learn. So being behind the camera, not behind the camera as a child actor to now as a producer, what are some things that you might see as a producer that other producers who hadn't acted maybe wouldn't recognize?
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, that's more. I'm gonna move you from a producer to what I'm watching with a director.
Okay.
Because producers, on a whole, they're just putting out a lot of fires and maybe not having the interaction with the actors on set day to day, whereas the directors are really working with the actors. And I'll be honest, directing's probably one of the hardest things you can do on a set when you really think about it. You have to absorb these words. You have a vision in your head of how you want it to look. Now you have to sit with another human being and come up with words that express your idea, so much so that they can download it into themselves and act out what they want, what you want from them.
You essentially have to be a teacher.
A teacher, but even more so like a teacher that's able to have
great storytelling too.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta,
and that's what the great directors do. So that's what I notice more is stuff that in regards to the actors, and then producing wise, like if I'm in the edit room and or I'm on set and I see an actor maybe not working naturally, I think a huge part of acting, in fact, it's the part of acting is reacting. That's the biggest thing, is how you react and naturally react, because you've heard this scene or this line 1,000 times, maybe 10,000 times. You have to react like it's the first time you're hearing it, all the while picking up, humanistic aspects or traits like drinking a soda or writing down a letter or whatever it is we do.
Eating cake.
Eating cake, exactly. Well, you do it so naturally, you know what I mean? But those are really hard things. And I think things that maybe, a regular audience member wouldn't pick up.
Well, and you've been on lots of TV shows, movies. Has there been a specific director who stood out to you and be like, he really helped me in this role, and not only in this role, but in my going forward, I always thought of him when I was working on other stuff.
Oh, there's everyone I've sort of learned a different trait from, but I have to go back, like way back is probably Gil Unger. He was a director, one of the main directors on Hope and Faith. And I was so young. I mean, and when I say young, I also mean inexperienced. I remember Macy Crutherd, my sister on the show, helped me one day because they said, "Oh, move stage left or stage right." I had no idea what that was. So Macy would whisper in my ear, like, "Go left, go right," and she would help me. And Gil was always so patient, and he would always try to explain things or tell me, do things differently. And but I've been fortunate to work with some great directors. But I probably have to go back there to one of the first.
Awesome. Very professional answer too. That
Yeah,
was
it
like
was.
asking an NFL coach, "Oh, how long is he injured for?" No, we'll have to talk to the doctors and we'll see.
No, it's tough. It's like,
No, I get it.
I've had some crazy, Jersey Girl was Kevin Smith, and he's from New Jersey, and he's kind of eccentric, and he does his own thing, and he plays by his own rules, but he was just as great. And that was John Patrick Shanley, and John had written Moonstruck, and he's a great writer. And he did Joe versus the Volcano, but directing's a whole different beast. So it's very interesting.
And I like what Evan said about, it sounds a lot like coaching. Like it's a mentor coach role. Like you learn from them, they give critical advice, whatever. I mean, it really does sound like it's not someone telling you what to do, but more so someone that's instructing you on how to do something right.
Yeah, until it's like, the only difference is, on a football field, there's, that's 60 minutes and then it's over.
Yeah, well, I guess let me rephrase. I'm thinking more, Monday, Tuesday when you're watching tape.
No, I agree.
Yeah, that's what I envision that
until it's take
Yeah.
100, and then you want to take his head off, and you're like, "Dude, we don't have it anymore. We're tired, we're hungry." I always used to say there's Gil DeLilly. I always joke. I was like, "Listen, just shoot on rehearsal and move on."
Yeah, I like that.
Just keep it going. I'll tell you a funny story with Philip. Is he was having a real rough day. It was a very emotional scene, where he gets confronted by Meryl. And I had been working, that next scene with him. And it's always kind of, like bricks being taken off after you're done with that scene, and you're just exhausted. You're emotionally exhausted. And I could feel that from him. And I don't know what possessed me, but I went up to him and I said, "Listen, Phil, just give me one good take and we'll be good to go."
Hey, how old are you?
12 or 13, something like that.
Did that put a smile on his face?
Yeah, we did it. We got it pretty much set up, I mean,
wow, dude.
We had Deakins as the DP, and he's just like, "We're not worthy." I think he's got however many Academy Award nominations, and he's setting up the camera shot, and Meryl's coming out of the office, and it was just crazy.
That is good, dude. Hey, Phil, come on. Yeah.
Just kidding.
One
I
good
knew
one.
it was tough. I know you're tired, but just let's do one.
Dude, that is so good. So you production upcoming. We got some fun things in the work. Will that take place here in 24 or more so early 25?
Probably early 25.
Exciting.
Yeah,
Nice.
just because I'm going to go out there, then it takes a little bit in post and editing and stuff like that. But it's something good to look forward to.
Nice. And probably I
Exciting
would be
times.
remiss if I didn't mention your workout routine. I mean, come on, this guy's a dog. For those of you who don't know, Paulie's an absolute dog in the weight room.
Here we go.
How old were you when you got into lifting? Because I don't even know.
I guess I was, it's funny. 18 or 19. I was it was funny. I did a film called Lifeguard with Alex Schaefer, David Lambert, Kristen Bell. And David, so I go out to LA and I'm out there for a couple months and I'm with my buddy Alex Schaefer, who, by the way, shout out Alex, was a New Jersey state champ wrestler. And how he got into the business was they were looking for extras for this movie Win Win, and they needed real wrestlers. So he goes to the ad, winds up getting the main character in the role. They go to Sundance. I think they win Sundance Film Festival with the movie. It's with Paul Giamatti and Burt Young. He's phenomenal in it. So I'm out there and I don't know what possessed him. I'm a very competitive person by nature, and obviously so is he. And he said, well, how long are you here for? I said, like 8-10 weeks. And he goes, well, I bet you I can get in better shape than you can. And I said, okay, bet. So subsequently, I'm still working out. And no, Schaefer does work out, but not as much. So I always joke with him, he'll never win again because I won.
That's so good. Dude, Paulie Litt, got some great stories, man. Appreciate you joining the show, bro. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Long overdue. Overdue.
This is a special episode for sure.
I know. I've heard about the podcast for a while. And and what's really crazy, can we take a step back and see how small this world is? Okay. So you come to me one day and you're like, oh, I have twin brothers that are at Indiana University. And I said, and we're in Boca Raton, Florida, so a little ways away. And he said, oh, that's funny. One of my best friends, Bennett Murphy, is going there right now. His dad goes there. Your dad went there. They're like, it's just crazy, the connections. Now, you went to Arizona. Nobody knows why. You're a party animal. But
funny.
Shout out the Hoosiers Nation.
Go Hoosiers, 3-0 in football. So let's keep it rolling.
Let's keep the train. I just need some overalls. You know those overalls that they have in the team?
We get you some overalls.
There
the candy stripes.
That's not a problem. Yeah, totally.
All right, Paulie. It's been an incredible episode. Where could our listeners find you on social media?
NJBoy33 on Insta. I never took the plunge. I'm not on Twitter or X.
Okay. All right, Paulie. We'll see you in the morning, brother. Thank you guys for listening. Peace.
Bye.